Welcome, Cyclone fans, to another episode of the Nightcap. Back after a week off, or 2 weeks off. I don't know. No, we took a week off, and then we did a draft last week, right? That's what we did. Yep. All the days of the
I
same
got Mitch. All is right in the world.
Yep.
Jesus.
But fellas, it is no longer the off season. It is game week.
It is the in season.
It is in season. So I'm joined once again by my wonderful co-host, Matthias Schwarzkopf, Josh Lenz, and child producer Aiden Wyatt. How's it going, everybody?
Good. Awesome, I suppose. Yeah, it's Tuesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday, and then we're that much closer, you know?
Absolutely. So today we're going over, obviously should be pretty obvious here. We're going to be talking about the Iowa State UNI game this weekend, previewing that, talking about that. We've got some game picks and some betting picks later on. We've got all sorts of good stuff. We should say thank you to our wonderful sponsor up in that corner, Stas Bar and Grill. Been wonderful to us. They hosted our 11th and a half anniversary party there a few weeks ago. It was a good time. And we are excited to keep working with them during the season. They've been sponsoring our podcast for a long time. Definitely stop on over there. They've got their 11-3 unlimited tacos for $8 or something like that. Crazy good deal for them. They got Taco Tuesday after class specials on Friday, mug night, all that good stuff up there. So definitely swing by Stas for some delicious tacos. And I am personally a big fan of their mules. So if you like mules,
hell yeah,
they make really good mules. And you can also get
Who doesn't like a mule?
Like you can get just a stupid huge thing of punch. Like I don't even know how much that was that you got there at that party.
It was like take Matthias's forehead.
It was literally like
multiply that by 4.
It was a liter of Estas punch.
It was 1 liter. It was a liter of punch.
It was delicious too.
I bet. All right, so let's talk about the game this weekend. Obviously, what was the longest weekend, the longest offseason ever, but still kind of boring for the most part.
Yeah.
Then became very not boring there for a while, but now after an even longer last little stretch there to the offseason, we're finally here. Where are you guys at mentally right now?
Just ready for some damn football, honestly. Yeah. And I want UNI to pay for their sins for even getting off the bus.
I'm with
respectfully, of course, because Mark Farley is a good guy and all, but
yeah, we don't hate UNI.
This is one of those things where it's strictly business.
We don't hate UNI. We just want to destroy them.
Like we want to be your friends afterwards, but you will be punished.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like we got to set the tone. Come out first game. There's been a lot of years where come out and don't necessarily do that. So, but no, I'm excited for the game, tailgating, the atmosphere, being around Cyclone fans again. I think everybody feels that way. Just ready to get back out there, get in Jack tries, feel the energy, and watch the Cyclones.
I might cry the first time they take the field.
No, I'm not even kidding. When that weather siren comes on, I'm legitimately probably gonna tear up a little bit. Like
I had goosebumps just from that video they put on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
6 to 12, real quick.
Ooh, right quick. It's gonna be everyone's gonna be so the adrenaline's gonna be pumping all day. You're gonna tailgate and all that. You get into the stadium and you're gonna hear the and it's just gonna be.
It's gonna get wild.
It's almost a good thing that it's not a 7 o'clock kickoff because I don't know that we would make it that long.
Not a chance.
No.
Well, I mean, there's a chance I may not make it to 3:30.
I was going to say, we're gonna find out if 3:30 is even a good idea.
That has been a 5 o'clock kickoff for the Iowa game one year. That was not a rough time to get there.
The game day game a couple years ago with all the delays and everything, that was a long day.
It was a long hangover.
I was at Jack Trice from 2:30 a.m. to close to midnight, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean it was damn near like a 24-hour day basically, but because I have a 2.5-hour drive.
That's
home.
Usually how long days are is 24 hours.
Anyways, One of these days, Matthias, I'm just gonna let it all build up, and then we're just gonna catch you walking down the street, and I'm just gonna fucking punch you in the head. I'm gonna go.
That's
shit.
fine.
It should be like Christmas Story.
But anyways, like, so we got to the stadium at like 4 o'clock or something like that. I don't think we even got home till 2 a.m. or something. Like, it was something crazy, something stupid late because we have a 2.5 hour drive home. So we were there so late, but we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there about 6:30. I think on set because the lots open up at 7, I think. So we'll probably be there at least a few minutes early. Get our
That's
spot.
the donor lots, right? Or all lots open up at 7:30 or 7
Correct.
o'clock.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm assuming it's all lots.
I think it's 6 hours. 6 hours before kickoff is when the public lots open.
Yeah.
Or
It
if
might
it's
just,
a different,
it might just be the donor lots that open up at 7 then, which fine with me.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'm kind of in the Aiden. I guess you didn't really. Where are you at? You didn't really chime in.
Pretty fired up, I guess. I mean, we didn't really have a student section last year,
Sure.
so I'm more excited to get back into that because I did that quite a bit. I think I did it a couple times when I was a junior in high school, but I did it like every home game when I was a senior in high school, so I kind of lived it. But this year is going to be completely different than anything we've seen before, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've already sold out tickets, and I'm not even talking student section. I'm talking just in general.
Yeah, I think
they've already sold out UNI and Iowa.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it was like basically the only thing that's left for sale on either of them was just the secondary market.
Yeah,
Pretty easy to sell out things now when you have season tickets already at the 45,000 mark. So
yeah,
I thought it was 49,000.
yeah, either way, you only have 11,000 tickets to sell afterwards. That's pretty easy.
And the thing too is that it's not 49,000 season tickets, and people are just going to kind of go to most of them and try to go. Like, that's 49,000 people that are going to be there for damn near, if not every game, then maybe they miss one. Like that, like they're not like nobody bought season tickets and they're just going to miss the Iowa game unless something comes up or something like that. I mean, then they'll sell them. But like, I mean, that is 49,000 butts in the seats. That's not just 49,000 tickets sold. That is 49,000 butts in the seats.
The only people missing the Iowa State-Iowa game are the poor souls that have a family member that doesn't care about the game and scheduled a wedding that weekend.
Yeah, we don't.
Are you saying
everyone knows
that's
someone?
Everybody knows.
Me, everyone knows someone.
Yeah, everyone's got that one asshole in the family that thinks they're more important.
Listen, anybody who is getting married just for the cheer, just do it in the summer, winter, whatever, spring. Don't fall. No, nobody wants to come to your goddamn fall wedding.
September through November, just why? Like, I mean, like fall weddings are fine, but like, is it at what cost though?
You live in a state where it's like primary agriculture, right? So there's step one. Like,
yeah, there's already harvest season.
Shit ton of us are gonna be farming anyways. So like,
Right.
Why in the first place? Then you're like, okay, we got Iowa State games on Saturdays too. Like, that's just dumb.
Yes,
Stop it.
Quit it. The Saturdays in the fall are just hosed anyway. Like, don't
abolish fall weddings.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, here's the thing: if you have a wedding on the Iowa State game, fine. But if you can't get mad when
don't get mad at people for not paying attention
watching the game. Like, that's all they're gonna do. Like, you can't get mad. If you want to have a wedding that day, fine. You just can't get mad when people want to watch the game instead of being
they're gonna want to watch it. Yeah, that's all there is to it. You can't get mad about it.
Nope.
But anyways, let's talk about the Iowa State UNI game. This is a game that has I don't like playing UNI. Not because I don't respect it's because I respect them is the reason I don't like playing UNI. It's because like UNI for college, I mean, obviously Iowa State fans are all well aware of UNI and all this, whatever. But like I was explaining it to an Oklahoma fan that I went on his podcast a couple weeks ago or something or last week or whatever. And I was like, in college football, UNI is one of those if you know teams. Like they're kind of like North Dakota State, where you can't mess up against UNI, like because they can and will beat you if you are really sloppy or if you're not tackling well or whatever. They will give you a run for their money and they might beat you. So like I don't like playing UNI. I don't care if we're number 7 in the country. I don't care if they were like 500 in the spring and the quarterback's not very much is not great. Like I don't like playing UNI. I don't know about you, Josh, but
no, I think it's always one of those things where they're a great team, and like you said, they're top 25, but they're always kind of like sneaky under the radar. You don't really know what you're going to get. like 1 year they could just have an off year, but then the next year you think just because they had an off year the year before that, it's gonna be a cakewalk or whatever.
Mhm.
But I mean, you never go into a game thinking that, but you just never know because there's not, they're not getting the same publicity that Iowa and Iowa State are getting. So every year, I mean, look at David Johnson. Like, you have a guy like that just pops out of nowhere and just absolutely goes off, and that could happen any year. So it's always interesting. You never know what to expect. So you have to go into it, expecting that they're going to be like any,
Right.
like any other team you're going to play the rest of the year.
Like, they're not the worst team on Iowa State's schedule. Like,
No, not at all. Not at all.
They would probably beat UNLV, and I feel fairly confident they would give Kansas a run for their money, if not beat them. So
Kansas is going to be
absolutely.
like one of those teams that's like probably more technically improved and talent improved.
Right.
But UNLV is definitely the worst team on our schedule.
They're easily the worst. To me, I feel like in this particular context, I would view like Kansas would be like the winless Browns, and you and I would be like the best Alabama team of all time. Now I know that people like say like, even the winless Browns would absolutely boat race the best Alabama team all time, maybe, but like it feels like one of those where if the winless Browns were just they turned it over, they were sloppy or whatever it is, that the Alabama team would have been good enough to sneak one by. Yeah. And that's what that one feels like to me. I don't.
And I can say, like, as a player, you never go into it. Like, I never went into this game thinking like, oh, it's you and I, like, we're gonna run over them. Like, it's nothing. Like, I mean, guys are always, like, hey, we got to be ready for these guys. Like, they're gonna bring it. But usually it's like that first game of the year where it could be a little sloppy. Like, you need to be in tune, firing on all cylinders. And but yeah, like I don't think Iowa State's going to come to this game and overlooking them at all.
Especially not after the Louisiana loss last year. There's no way.
Well, that and a lot of these guys still on the roster who are starting this game were a part of that 2019 game as well. So it's still fresh in the minds of everyone.
And I know Campbell because Campbell, UNI was his first loss of his coaching career at Iowa State. So it's like. And I don't get the feeling that Iowa State is a team that overlooks opponents at all. Like I don't get that impression. Obviously they dropped the one to Louisiana last year, but I think that was a product of a lot of different things. Charlie Kohler was out that game. They missed a lot of practice leading up to that. We found out later. We didn't know that at the time, but we found out later that they missed a lot of guys missed a bunch of practice coming up to that
36
game.
of them.
Yep. 36 players and out for contact tracing and all this. So like it kind of makes sense now. Plus, Louisiana turned out to be a pretty good team. So it was kind of one of those deals that, like, I don't think they didn't take Louisiana seriously. I just think they just weren't quite ready just because of a lot of different factors. But that's obviously not going to be the case this year. They're plenty ready. They've had a normal offseason. They're from everything that I've heard, they're extremely healthy.
Yep.
You know what I found crazy is that, like we're saying, I mean, obviously you have to take you and I like super serious, but the fact that Vegas has it at 37, or last time I looked, 37.5 points.
No, thanks. No, I'm not
like,
is the line been released fully? I guess I haven't even I've been kind of like under a rock today.
Aiden, do you got that line?
Just the consensus. So it hasn't been officially released by Vegas, but pretty much every website out there has the average at 37.5.
I'm gonna look here on if
man, you couldn't pay me to take Iowa State on that cover. No
like,
way.
I hope I'm wrong, but I mean, this game is always a dogfight. You know, what I'm
it's
saying?
not on DraftKings yet either.
I mean, I would love to beat you and I by 38 points, but man, I don't see it. I don't.
When's the last time Iowa or Iowa State beat you and I by that much?
By that many?
Well, we won by 27 in 2010. And that's our largest win.
No, we won by. I thought we won by like 18. I thought that's what it was.
So
you know
maybe
like,
I should
go back and
we won 40 or because you're talking 2010. You said.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of 2017. That was 18.
So you're saying I might want to relook at my final score prediction that I have.
I mean,
in
like
our game preview.
I mean, I can't even think of the last time because Iowa won the 2016 game. They won the 2016 game. Was it 42-3 or something like that? Like they destroyed us or whatever. I think that's what it was. That would probably be the closest, which was 39 points. But man, I would not feel remotely if I take an Iowa State on that spread.
Never mind. Just we'll save it for Friday morning.
37.5 is so many points.
I know.
That's a
Well,
huge
let's just say my final score prediction is not covering it.
Yeah, no. I don't feel comfortable in that. I would. I mean, what? So here's a question: what line would you feel comfortable taking Iowa State at the over at? Not a score prediction, but like if someone gave you, a line at like 23.5, would you take it?
Yep.
I'd probably have to be at like 21.5.
Something nice and low. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aiden, what would you have
feel
to
really
be
good about it?
What would you have to be at to take Iowa State on the cover? What's the lowest number? Or sorry, what would be the highest number you'd be willing to take Iowa State at?
I don't know. I'm looking at it right now, and according to the Action Network, the over-under
I love the Action Network.
42.5.
Over-under is 42. So
the over-under is 42.5, and they have us as a 36-point favorite.
So they have
We're
us
probably going to score 42. So
are we?
I'd be pretty comfortable at like.
I don't know. Like the only thing my lack of confidence in that is just the repeated slow starts by this team every single year. It's always,
don't worry about it.
The offense is always dog shit for at least the first half, if not the first game. So that's I don't know, man. I mean, granted,
I'd be comfortable at like 3 touchdowns, I think.
I mean, the nice thing is you have Brees and you have good continuity in the offensive line. Like the running game has a pretty high floor, so that's good. But I don't know. That's a tough one. I think I'd have a hard time. The over under. Would you say over under 442?
42.
42.5.
I'd probably take the over on that.
Yeah, I think I would too.
I would take the over.
It's gonna be over. Iowa State's scoring 42 themselves.
Yeah.
You think they are scoring 42, Josh?
I think so. I mean, I think it's going to be. We'll have at least that, but I don't know. It's going to be 37. I just can't get off the 37.5. Like that's
so much.
What's the largest spread that we've had? What have
That's
we?
gotta
What's
be
the
up
largest
there.
spread we've had?
I mean,
it's got to be up there.
It's definitely up there.
It's got to be.
Kansas last year, I think we were something around
27 or something like that.
I think it was 27.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
37 is wild.
That's so many points. Like that's like an Oklahoma spread. Like that's how many points they put. Like they give Oklahoma over Northwest Missouri State or something.
This is just the world we live in now, guys.
The world we live in now.
2021. Get with the time.
We got to get used to it.
We're favored by 37 points. Let's just roll with this. All right.
Nothing makes any sense.
It's not that big of a deal.
I have too much Iowa State fan just ingrained, just built into my bones.
Act like you've been ranked number 7 in the preseason before. Okay.
Never been that before. I have no idea how to handle any of this. Like, that's why it's like other fan base telling Iowa State fans that have gotten oversensitive is you need to act like you've been there. It's like, we haven't. I don't know how to handle any of that. I don't know how to process any of this emotion. I got nothing.
What is a ranking?
What is ranking even? So one over here. Okay. So this is an interesting comment. So I said Iowa State isn't going to sneak up on any opponent this year. They need to bring it every game. I would argue that Iowa State they stopped sneaking up on people in 2019. Like that was the season that they stopped sneaking up on people.
Probably 2018.
Well, I guess. Sorry, pre 2019, post 2018. I guess is after they went to the Alma Bowl. I think that is when they stopped sneaking up on people. I don't think people have been underestimating Iowa State for the last few years. Yeah, I might be overestimating, I guess, what other fan bases think of us or what other programs think of us. But I think we've been doing this long enough now where we're no longer or it's not like we are just now having a target on our back.
Right.
Especially like last season. I mean, I think we were pretty unanimous, like a top, projected in the top 2 to 4 or whatever. So I mean, like it's a worthwhile thing that, like, I would say it's at number 7 now. They're not just like top 20 and got a shot to get there. I mean, they're like expected to be challenging. So like, I mean, I get that, but like, maybe you can bring some insight on this. Who doesn't give their best shot at a team? Like that doesn't compute to me. Like, isn't every team giving every team their best shot? Like,
now I've been told by several Iowa fans that Iowa players do not care about the Cyhawk game.
Yeah, you might want to tell the Iowa players that. Like, I mean,
regardless of what Iowa fans say, those Iowa players and Kirk Ferentz, damn well they want to win that game. They have it
absolutely.
No matter if Iowa State is 0 and whatever they could play in November, and Iowa State could be 0 and 11 on a Black Friday, and Kirk Ferentz is going to want to win that game.
100%.
And damn full the Twitter warriors from the Iowa fan base. Yes, I'm talking about you Twitter warriors because that's all you are, because you anonymous little bastards. Won't even put your name on something out here yet. But anyways, damn well they want to win that game just as much. And then they're just saying they don't want to get rid of the Cyhawk game because they just want to say it to piss us off. But they don't want to get rid of it either. So, sons of bitches. Yeah, that's all I got about that.
I say, Josh, can you enlighten us a little bit? I mean, like, is that a thing to not get someone's your best shot? Like, I don't. That doesn't compute in my head.
No, I mean, I think you're going to get everybody's best shot. It's not like guys go out and are like, it's just a game. Like, we're not going to play good.
Right.
But I think when you are a team that, maybe you're on the fringe from making the bowl game, or you're not having the best year. Or in like you and I's stance, like, hey, we can start the year by beating a top 10 team in Division 1. Like, you have a little extra juice, for those games. Like it's not like you go into other games and think like, it's just any game. But for some teams, if you're not having the best year, or you can make a statement, like it's like, well, we might not make a bowl game this year, or this is the only opportunity we have to make a bowl game. Like, this could, set us in a different direction, and by winning this game, like there is something to be said about it for sure. So I mean, like when we beat Oklahoma State, number 2, in the country on whatever Thursday or Friday night that
Friday
year,
night. Yep.
Like, there's no doubt, like we went into that game and it was like, yeah, we can beat these guys, like no problem. Like, we felt good about it, and and we knew it was a must-win game, because that year it was kind of like, well, we need to have this, or win this game, or we might not make a bowl game. So
sure,
I don't know. I think there is something to be said about that. You are going to get, you could go into Kansas and you got to be prepared, because if you're a top 10 team, they look at it as an opportunity to take down a big dog, and they're going to give it everything they have. So,
okay, that makes sense, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense, kind of the way we're explaining, because just on the surface to me, it's like, I mean, it's not like anybody. Yeah. It's not like any team just goes in there and is like, whatever, we'll just figure it out.
Yeah.
No, do it on
the fly. There's definitely something to it, but it's not. I think it's more of like, I don't know, like a subconscious thing, right? It's not like any coaches.
You're just a little more amped up. You got a little more adrenaline. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. That's
you know what I wish, though? That Twitter was never invented, right? Because
I'm in, man.
Like, like sports would be so much more enjoyable if like we didn't have to hear the stupid shit that people like post on Twitter. Like, it's like sometimes you just wonder. It's like the TikTok. Like, it says sometimes you just wonder what's going inside a person's head. Sure. And Jesus Christ, people, you were all.
So if Twitter put a poll out there and said and they left it to a popular vote on whether they should nuke Twitter or not, if they say, if you vote yes, they keep it. If you vote no, they nuke it. The whole thing, gone forever, wiped from existence. Would you vote yes or no? Would you vote to keep it or nuke it?
Just get rid of social media in general.
Twitter specifically. So you would vote no, Matthias? Like, you would vote to nuke it?
Well, if it gets rid of all the anonymous Iowa fans, then yes.
Well, I mean, the rest of the internet exists, but I'm talking just Twitter.
Yeah.
Josh, would you nuke Twitter?
I don't think I have a problem with it. I guess I'm not as entrenched in the
Yeah,
Twitter
you're not.
world as you guys.
Yeah.
I stay pretty out of it. So it for me, I use it as like if I need to look something up, like if something crazy's happening, I'll just
Fair enough.
hop on Twitter and search it, and I'm good. I can catch up on everything.
Yeah,
I'm
see, I had a
not
problem
like
with that.
I don't get
Twitter is-
notifications on. I have my notification like so if somebody mentions me or does any
Sure,
of that, I don't
have all
even
that
get
off too.
Oh, I've got all that.
I don't
off.
do anything. So and I don't check it often.
Sure.
So, I don't know.
You're, like,
so for that
indifferent?
fact, I would keep it. Like it doesn't
Okay.
bother me because I'm not as entrenched as you guys.
Aiden, would you keep it or nuke it?
Firmly entrenched, would you say?
Oh God.
Twitter might be like the only social media I'd keep, honestly.
Yeah, I could get on with that.
I could probably get on board with that.
Like
Nuke
get rid
everything
of-
but
get rid
Twitter.
of Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook.
Yep.
I would
You
have
said
like
MySpace, I don't know what you're
I
doing on
have
MySpace,
found the
get
way
rid of that.
around it to make it like usable though. Like, the muted word list is like mine
Muted
is
words
just
is
like
nice.
is a list long.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah.
Block people is getting longer. It just makes it much more quiet.
One of
Yeah.
these times I'm gonna
Would
at
you-
you
so
about Mitch
would you,
Trubisky
like-
and you're gonna block me.
I have that word muted too because I'm sick of all the the Trubisky Stan accounts that think he's like the next Tom Brady. I muted the word Trubisky because I'm over it. I'm done.
Hilarious.
Over.
Hater.
Would you I guess, is Discord considered social media? I don't know.
Discord stays.
Discord stays. I like Discord a lot.
All right,
Speaking
back
of
to
Discord-
previewing you and I.
I like our Discord. Yeah, but yeah, we should talk about you and I at some point. Yeah. So, anyways, let's actually dig into the game a little bit. We've got some notes pulled up here from you and I in Iowa State. Looking at interestingly enough, you and I brought back every single starter on offense and defense. So they played the spring season this past spring. After they didn't have a fall season last year. I believe they go 2-2. That sound right?
3 and 4.
They went 3-4. Well, look at me. 3-4. Will McElvain, I know he only completed about 54% of his passes. I have to take a look at that.
If that, through one touchdown pass.
Yeah,
a
he
week.
was hurt for a few games.
COVID-19, buddy.
Obviously, remember from the 2019 game that Will McElvain was everywhere all the time. He's pulling his best. He was his first career college start as a true freshman, and just decided to turn into Johnny Manziel
Without the rushing yards.
profoundly annoying. And made it a game. He was really good that game, but it looks to me statistically that was one of the best games of his career, just from tape wise and stuff like that. I don't know. The interesting stat on offense, they're kind of they're okay.
Yeah, so you and I had a lot of if you want to call it things that stack up against you before a football season even begins to put a wrench in your system for your defense or offense. It happened to you and I because their offensive coordinator, the day before the first game against South Dakota State, he left to go be some sort of coach at the Green Bay Packers. So there's step one. Spencer Brown gone before the even year begins because he is going to the drafted by the Bills basically in April. So he not even there. Will McElvain out for some portions of the season due to COVID-19 protocols. Anything that is possibly like Mark Farley even said it like before their first camp. He's like pretty much everything that went wrong like did or could. But we're not going to use that as an excuse. Like that's just dumb. Like we're disappointed in that wasn't you and I football. But
It's like we shouldn't have an excuse, but if we did, this is what it would be.
Yeah.
So basically, here's our excuse.
yeah,
We were
But
looking
to be fair, those are pretty good excuses.
That's true. So,
so they literally only scored 13 total touchdowns over the course of 7 games.
big yikes.
Oh, offensively, They were 2 through the air and 11th on the ground, and the rushing game was just abysmal. They just over 3 yards a carry.
Yeah, they were really bad. Yeah.
Passing game was 198 yards a game. I mean, it just not good. I'm pretty sure that's not going to be indicative of what UNI offense is going to be this year, just because they're going to have a little more gelling going forward. But if it was not a good UNI football team offensively last year.
So there kind of looks like to me, kind of their main weapon on offense is Isaiah West as a receiver. And we were looking at the game notes for this prior to this and stumbled upon this kind of ridiculous stat. So Isaiah Weston has caught 72 passes for 1,585 career yards. His 22 yards per catch average is 7th in the UNI career record book.
Yeah. For
context, Iowa State's career average leader and yards per reception is Hakeem Butler at 19.8, I think is what I said, or 19.6 or something like that. Not just shy of 20 yards a catch. Isaiah Weston is at 22 yards per catch for his career, and he's 7th in the UNI career record book. Now I'm having a lot of trouble if it's on the internet, I can't find it, or as far as UNI's football school records, but the idea that he is at 22 yards a catch and he's 7th all time at UNI, while Iowa State's record per yards per catch is 19 point something, and with Hakeem Butler, it's kind of crazy. Well, that's a crazy stat.
That needs to be looked into a little bit more, because doing my deep diving into UNI before writing the game preview, that literally did not come up anywhere.
Like if anybody can look around the internet and find UNI's school records and find their top 10 receiving yards per completion leader or yards per reception leaders, I would love to see what the all-time career record is if 22 yards is 7th all-time.
There was more mentions about the Deion McShane than there was Isaiah Weston that I found. So sure. I'm really curious to see if this is like a valid stat.
I mean, he's got 72 career catches, which is, I mean, like Iowa State's record book is 50 is your minimum for a career record. So I mean, he would meet Iowa State's criteria for a minimum record holder, which he would be the all-time record holder at Iowa State. So I don't know. That's a really crazy stat to me. So I would be curious. Wild. I would be curious to see what their minimum receptions is to qualify, and I would be curious to see what the leader, like who the 6 above him are, and what their numbers look like.
Yeah, there's got to be that minimum's got to be lower.
It almost has to be, right?
Yeah, because that's a wild stat.
Even if the minimum is lower, though, he's over Iowa State's threshold at 22 yards a catch. I mean, he's still an extremely impressive number. But yeah, I would like to see the context for how he's at 7th all time in the record book. I don't know.
Like, hey, you're only gonna run goes.
He's just gonna run 9 routes,
deep routes.
Yeah, that's his whole route tree, just straight. A straight line is his whole route tree. So I guess to me it looks like Deion McShane did end up second team all MVFC, and then Isaiah Weston was honorable mention. So those two I think eat up quite a bit of their catches, I believe.
Yeah, they're really interesting. And then there's also just another standout offensive player, obviously, other than Will McElvain, which he hasn't really officially been named starter yet. Farley was supposed to announce it today, and I don't think anything's come out yet because Theo Day, the transfer from Michigan State, was kind of pushing him for the job. Basically what everything Farley was saying was he was going to lean towards the experienced guy because Theo Day had literally never played at Michigan State at all in any game. So I would assume that Will McElvain is going to, and I was talking to Cole Blair, who is on the radio up at 1650 there up in that area. He was saying he'd be surprised if Will McElvain wasn't even the starter. Would be surprised if Will McElvain wasn't named the starter. So, but you go. Other than that, there's Trevor Penning, who's going to be another offensive lineman for Northern Iowa that's going to be drafted in this upcoming draft as well. So he's a junior, but he's 6'7", 335 pounds. He's a big boy. So that's going to be a nice little matchup to watch as, Will McDonald, who is being risen up the NFL draft boards against another, NFL caliber offensive lineman right out of the gate, game one.
Right.
Love that.
Let's see. He started 5 games at left tackle and 1 at right tackle. Interesting.
Penning.
He was named to Bruce Feldman's college football freaks list. So anyways, to me anyways, you and I looking at all this, you and I doesn't necessarily scare me a lot on offense. I don't think Iowa State would have a lot of trouble slowing them down.
I don't think anything though, statistically wise, that we took from last year in those 7 games is going to really
it's hard to say because
I'm just saying, I guess I'm erring on the side of caution. I don't want fans going in this game be like, look, UNI's offense couldn't score any points last year. Yeah, that's true. But new year, Mark Farley is not a dumb guy. He's coached a lot of good football teams. He's gonna have it fixed.
Sure. And
they're gonna come out with some crazy stuff, whatever it may be, to try to put up some points against Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So yeah, and that's the kind of thing too. I don't know. I have trouble I understand the 2020 is a weird year argument and that you can't necessarily take a lot from it, but also everybody else also had 2020. So they were all still fighting on the same uneven playing field.
Yeah.
Or they were like last year when I would say 1-9-3, but it was a weird season and all this. Well, yeah, but they all still played within the same circumstances. Mm. So that's why I don't have a lot of sympathy for the 2020 invalidates everything argument. I don't buy into that, I guess.
But I think to UNI's defense, I mean they just got done with the season not too long. They had the spring season, so it's apples and oranges when we're looking at that. It's everybody 2020, but their season was, they're not that far removed from it, so it is kind of a little crazier.
That's fair.
Comparing it to the rest of the Division One, I get that,
sure.
That case,
because guys could be soft tissue injuries or something, whatever, rehabbing still. They didn't get to do a full training. I mean, none of them got to do full training through the year. Obviously, they were training in the fall, leading into the spring, but then they played a spring season, so that took away the training time that you would have had in the spring. Yeah. And now you got 4 months to kind of rest up and then sort of train and then do it again.
When did their season? When was their season done this spring?
April.
Last game? April.
So worth noting, if you go back to 2019,
that's insane.
They averaged 3.1 yards a carry and 7.23 yards attempt on the passing. So they were a little bit better passing in 2019, but the rushing was still bad.
And I think that's the Will McElvain is not the prototypical Mark Farley quarterback, right?
No.
Will McElvain is a backyard football player where he's good when things break down. He's good at extending the play. He's good at just making something out of nothing. He's not a drop back, look, survey the field, go through 3 progressions and find a receiver. He's a guy that just runs around and whoever pops open first, he's throwing the ball to. And that's not a Mark Farley quarterback. And I think that was what caught us off guard in 2019. Obviously, Matt Campbell knew who Will McElvain was by recruiting him in high school, sort of. And then him getting supplanted into UNI offense, they're preparing for a Mark Farley offense, and Will McElvain comes in and just blows the entire thing up, and it looks like, I don't know, all hell broke loose, and everybody's running around, and that's basically how they made it dirty, made the game look dirty and muddled up, and it just was all out of sorts. Now we know what that's going to do, but yeah, basically, which is why Theo Day is sitting there in Cedar Falls and pushing Will McElvain to take that quarterback spot.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, for me, I think the biggest thing that I'm going to be looking at is what, if we come out and punch UNI in the mouth, how are they going to respond? Because I think as a player, having to, it's going back to this spring schedule deal. As a player, you grind in the summer, you have training camp, you go through a long season, and then after the season, you have workouts, but that's kind of your like, I'm kind of a regular student. Like, by no means are you, and you don't get to have the full experience type of deal. But like, you kind of get in a rhythm of like going to classes. Like maybe you go out a couple nights a week, like that sort of thing. Like kind of get in a rhythm and have some sort of normalcy. But these guys like went from, all right,
Football.
no season,
Right.
no season, and then football, and then now they have summer work, summer training.
Yeah, they didn't really
Right
get much
after they
time
got done
off.
with the season. Yeah, like they didn't have they went from a season to like full blown workouts into training camp. So like my thing is like, where are these guys mentally right now? Like if we
out.
come out and punch them, yeah, exactly. Like, are they burned out right now? Like if we come out and just absolutely punch them in the mouth and get up a couple touchdowns, like are they going to lay down? And the only thing is since it's a big interstate game, like that's I mean that could lift them up a little bit, but like I think if we come out and just absolutely lay it to them, like mentally, I don't think they'll be able to
just
handle
come
that.
out with a opening drive like we did against Oregon, lean on them,
just sit there,
take 6 minutes off the clock, run it down their throat. I really do think like maybe that first drive we're going to throw the ball once, and then they're just going to run it with Brees Hall,
it'll be
Brock,
like a
and
screen
it's
or something. It'll be
it's going to be some dumb
Yeah.
little stupid pass to just kind of spread out the defense a little bit, and it's just going to be Brees Hall. Oh, Jarrell Brock, boom, 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 all over and over and over again, and it's, I mean, you take 6 minutes down the field, and then it's just game over.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they just set the tone with the run game and say, hey, we're not here to mess around. Like we're just gonna do what we want with you. And I think if they can do that, then I think
we're gonna take our
really
ginormous offensive line that we somehow randomly put together all of a sudden because our
huge
our strength and conditioning coach is a freak and just built these dudes like mountain men, and we're just going to lean on you and have our all-American consensus all-American running back just ram it down your throat, and you're not going to like it.
I was looking, we'll talk about it like more next week too, but like looking at like the depth chart for Iowa State and Iowa and looking at the like the height and weight of everybody, like Iowa State has like a 20 or 30 pound advantage over Iowa on all the way across the line on both sides. It's
love that
bananas. Like
Northern Iowa is speaking of weight advantages, Northern Iowa is typically a lot of times they're a little more undersized comparison. I mean, just look. I mean, we could probably pull it up here right now. Let's look at Jared Brinkman. He's the dude that is the motor for UNI. I mean, he is. They don't even have freaking
6'2", 290.
So 6'2". So he's still a big boy.
That's a good size. Yeah.
Let's look at the next guy. Let's look at
a lot of the times though, like you and I will have like some of those smaller dudes.
He's easily their best lineman though. So you got
he consensus all-American.
You got like 6'3", 265, 6'3", 270, 6'3", 260, 6'4", 235.
6'3", 260. That's a pretty small lineman.
6'4", 235, 6'5", 255. I mean, these guys are tiny. You got one here that's 6'2", 300. That's Tim Butcher. Tim Butcher. And then you got Cannon Butler coming in at a hot 6'6", 210.
Yeah, these guys are tiny. I say,
they're not big.
Standing 5'9", weighing 140 pounds.
All right, 6'4", 300. Christian Boyd. That's like their biggest guy.
Well, regardless, I mean, Iowa State physically, fundamentally, other than not Spencer, but Jared Brinkman, that's gonna be the guy they're gonna have to block the entire game. Just wipe him like they did with the brothers from West Virginia last year. They wiped them off the face of the earth. Nothing else mattered after that. You wipe old Brinkman off the face of the earth, and it's just easy sledding from there. Don't even let him make one single play. Double team, I don't care. Just bury him into the mud.
The real thing here is that Iowa State for decades was always the smaller team and always had to really like win on technical work and our technique and had to kind of out scheme a little bit and stuff like that to have a shot. But now they're just bigger. They're bigger, stronger, faster. It's phenomenal. Yeah, just wonderful development from Dave Andrews to get that whole roster. Just, I mean, like Brees looks like a Greek god. I mean, I don't know if it's really good lighting, but it seems like every single player I've seen from the offseason, every single picture I've seen of these players in the offseason and training camp makes them look like they're absolutely jacked. Like with ridiculous muscle tone. Like
aside from having a mangasm over these guys' muscles right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
I've been kind of thinking about that just because UNI's defense is always really solid. Linebacker wise, you got it's Spencer. I think it's Cuvelier, and then they also have Omar Brown, Austin Evans, and then his dad used to play UNI too. I can't think of his name, but anyway, solid defensive backs.
Sure.
So what UNI did well against Iowa State in 2019 was kind of come out in that 3-3-5-ish, sort of Mark Farley kind of twist to it. Now, if UNI were to do that this time around, obviously we're going to be ready for it. That was another thing like that Mark Farley just tossed out. We were not like, we're like, whoa, okay. One was Noel McAvane and two was the 3-3-5. Everyone's like, what the frick, So the curious thing is if Iowa or Northern Iowa is going to come in their normal base defense, which is normally like a 4-2-5, if I believe.
Sure.
Interestingly enough, they're going to kind of come out with that 3-3-5.
I'm looking at their defense here. Of their defensive backs, they've only got 2 under 6 foot. Their defensive backs are generally kind of tall. They're all 6'6", 6'1", 6'2". They got a 6'3". They've got a fairly tall defensive back group, so that's kind of interesting. Especially going up against in the Big 12, where you typically anyways have a little bit smaller corners, in the 5'10" range.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of interesting. I don't know if that'll make them necessarily any more capable of defending a guy like Sean Shaw or anything like that. I was looking to see too if they have any like tall linebackers. They've got a 6'3" linebacker, and there's another one right there. They've got a few of them that are 6'3" whatever. Because that's who's going to be covering Charlie Kohler and Chase Allen and stuff like that. Is those guys. So I don't know. The roster's kind of interesting. They're kind of light, a little bit undersized at some of the key positions where you need some size. So it's a game that Iowa State can physically dominate. They've got the talent advantage. It's really about just making sure you play clean, not turning the ball over. Special teams being good. Hopefully Corey Dunn, if he's the starting punter, hopefully Corey Dunn isn't total butt cheeks like he was.
Let's just not use him.
Well, yeah, there you go. Let's just not use him.
Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's more likely he's going to be seeing the field.
Yeah.
Later.
I'm thinking like
not just more than warm up, seeing the field.
Like I mean, there was his deal in 2019 though. He had a couple really bad shanks. But he also had a couple like absolute cannons. So it was like
he went away from the rugby style punting a little bit.
Yeah, when he went away from rugby style, it got way better. So I'm hoping they told him to just can it because I don't like rugby style anyways, and it clearly wasn't working for him. I don't know. The rugby style is silly to me. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's
interesting. Depends on the coverage.
I'm sure it's harder to field. I'm sure it's harder to field that.
Well, I think more of it is around allowing the coverage to get down there.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's that and like a return. If they're going to send a bunch of guys to the one side or the other, probably
protect it more.
Yeah,
it's interesting, but I mean, if it was that much of an advantage, don't you think you'd see a lot more people doing it?
Yeah,
I don't think it's that
right.
I don't know, much of an advantage that.
To me, it's whatever you're comfortable with. Yeah. To me, whatever one they're more comfortable with seems like the one you'd go with. And clearly, Corey may have thought he was more comfortable with the rugby, but it wasn't working. To me, it seems like you're introducing a lot of variables in there while you're running and you're trying to punt it while you're on the run. To me, it seems like you're introducing a lot of variables that don't need to be in there. I don't know. I'm not a
Is he
punting
all right?
expert.
Dude, it's getting so freaking hot in here. I'm like, is my vent open? Like, I'm burning up in here, man. Like, I'm gonna start sweating here. I think, I'm feeling. Maybe it's just me getting hyped up for the football game. But
Yeah,
I'm
he's-
feeling
Get
warm.
ready to go.
He was working on the hype tape a little bit earlier.
Typical wide right natty light fashion.
Thursday night starting about 10 o'clock.
There may be music selected for the hype tape, and that's about as further as it's gone.
Classic fashion is to be like,
Pound out the hype tape.
yeah,
at
like
11
8 o'clock
p.m.
on
at night.
Thursday. One of us will message the other one and be like, oh shit, I forgot the hype tape. I gotta go do that.
or hey, you got the hype tape this week? No, you do.
You do.
Shit.
And then you whip that baby together in a couple hours and it seems to work out. So
I was gonna play Madden tonight, but I guess that's gone.
Yeah, so now I got to do the hype tape. And yeah. But anyway, so if you go back to the defensive side of the ball, we talked a little bit about their personal team. I mean, they're just a little bit undersized. Defensively, they're solid. They tackle well. They do their jobs pretty much is kind of the UNI deal. I'm not sure.
I'm really more so curious what they're going to be rolling out with, that 3-3-5 kind of variation, or the
right.
if they come back. I'm going to guess they're going to come back in their base, because we're not going to be surprised by any means that a 3-3-5 is like tossed out by Mark Farley. Like, even if they did, like, okay, we've been practicing against that. I mean, there's enough teams that run the last time too, but we weren't really like. Oh.
There's enough teams that run in the Big 12 now that it's just
and the matchups to combat that for Iowa State offensively are, more developed per se, because like.
Sure.
Like Charlie Kohler was okay, like then, but like he wasn't like the Charlie Kohler we see today. Like Brees Hall was just a freshman, carried the ball 11 times that game, but like he wasn't the Brees Hall. Yeah,
really, he got that many carries?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? I didn't think he got that many carries.
Yep. I believe I'll have to double check, but
anyways,
yeah. So then, like the offensive line, obviously that year wasn't the offense, like, because we were all worried about the offensive line going into that season, and we were worried about the offensive line after that season.
Right.
So this is a much more technically sound offensive line than we've really ever had at Iowa State in the longest time. I shouldn't say ever, but I mean, we've had some decent offensive lines at Iowa State, but in the Matt Campbell era. So there is whatever defense Northern Iowa schematically tosses out, there's going to be a way to combat that.
Right.
So
what we should do, what we should also talk about too, is the depth chart that came out this week. Let me pull it up here. Get it on share my screen so we can pull it up on the stream. All right. So, well, this is dumb. All right. Well, anyways, I don't know. Hopefully people can see that a little bit. It's just zooming in on the thing. But anyway, so you got Brock Purdy obviously starting on offense.
Wait, what?
Yeah, let's start on the offensive line a little bit. I guess, Matthias, was there anything in here that you saw that kind of caught you off guard?
Well,
or tackle or center, I don't care.
I think, and I put this in the offensive line preview, but there was a battle at left tackle, which we kind of where'd that go?
Oh, sorry, I accidentally wrong screen.
Yeah, so there was like left tackle, which I kind of thought it would be Grant Triber kind of pushing, which we saw Grant Triber in the two deeps last year pushing, not really pushing, but he was there behind Sean Foster. And now we see Tyler Miller, the big boy out of Iowa here. This dude's mammoth, but he kind of sprung up into the two spot there on the left tackle. Now, does he get some reps against UNI? Maybe. I think he was pushing for a starting position here later in the camp. So that's actually the most surprising one, really, honestly. And now who actually is the first guy out there at right tackle? Is Remsburg going to be the guy and Schwager starts at right guard, or is Schwager out at right tackle and Daryl Simmons in his right guard? I mean, because you look at right guard, right tackle. I mean, Jake Remsburg, Derek Schwager, Daryl Simmons, all three of those guys started last year were all, some variation heralded as really good offensive linemen, still are. I'm sure those guys will interchange a lot this season, which they've all played with each other enough that it's not that huge of a deal. Because you think of sometimes offensive line, you want that continuity throughout the entire season. You don't want injuries happening, things like that. But these guys have played enough that if one got plugged in, it's not really that big of a deal. So
Sure.
um,
Joey Ramos at backup center is one.
Yeah, so
is interesting.
I honestly didn't really see him as a center. You know, I thought he may be in that mix at the right tackle, but when you actually go back and like look at his like footwork and like how he's kind of like hunched like this when he blocks, right?
Sure.
I mean, it's just like he's a scaled, like in scaled blocker type of thing. So, you know, it makes sense like where he's not like wide out, you know, at bases and things like that. So if he can snap the ball and he can play more of it in a box type setting, blocking, it probably going to be more beneficial for him to actually gain that playing time. And, you know, the emergence of Jake Remsburg probably didn't help that case either.
Sure. Yeah.
And the emergence of Tyler Miller and also Grant Triber is still there too. So log jam at tackle, which is also good.
At the skill positions, Eli Sanders looks like it's either Eli Sanders or Deion Silas there for the third running back. But look at the receivers. Jalen Knowles right there behind Tariq Milton. Seeing him as a true freshman. And then you get Darian Porter finally showing up on the depth chart. That's good. Good to see him there. He's got a little bit more weight on him now, up to 185. And then there's another guy that, you know, guys there at that Z spot, which is interesting because there's a couple oars there. But nice seeing Joe Skates there, and being really involved on that depth chart is a possibility to get that start.
It sounds like they're finally really, you
yeah.
know, I think we've had a deep wide receiver room before. Like last year, it was smaller in depth wise. I mean, there were players there, but just not guys that weren't trusted yet. So this year, we're going to see a lot of wide receivers, I think, and that's good.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing here too. That's a guy that we've heard a lot about. Just kind of a little bit, just kind of the rumors going around, or whatever, that Joe Skates has had a really, really good offseason, that he's finally kind of start to put it together a little bit. Got all of his stuff. He's got himself put together, and being more consistent and really showing off his ability.
Matt Campbell said last night Sean Shaw had a really good camp too, so he said he's probably gonna have his best year of football too. So it's kind of funny. He's like talking about all these guys. Yeah, he's gonna have his best year of football, but like there's a ton of guys. Like, where are all these catches gonna come from?
Yeah, there's only so many targets to go around, especially when you're a team that likes to pride itself on playing 100 tight ends.
Yeah.
Probably not well, speaking of tight end, you have Charlie Kohler and Chase Allen there, not surprised. Listed as an or for Easton Dean. There is that third one, which we kind of, so I think it was kind of either between him or Deshaun Hanukkah to come up and be that starter there. So I'm sure we'll
see him this year. Yeah,
I'm sure we'll probably see them both at some point. But moving on to defense, I think is where there's some more interesting stuff going on here. Corey Dunn is listed as the starting punter, no or anything. Right now you've got Connor Sally or Andrew Mevis as the place kicker. So there's a kicker battle there. So that's interesting. I would assume that means Connor on the short stuff and Mevis on the longer ones. Nothing determined there for punt return and kick returners. So that's kind of interesting. Sounds like there's been a bunch of names going around. I know Brees said he wanted to return kicks. I don't think they're going to
protect him at all costs.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to let Brees return
kicks. There's some big collisions.
Right. So it could be like an Eli Sanders, could be a Jalen Knoll, could be a Deion Silas, could be about any of those guys.
It could be a situational thing too, where it's like, hey, Brees, we need something. We need a spark. We need, whatever. We've done it
maybe
where you just throw a guy back there that,
right.
Might have a little juice or.
I would be surprised though if he's the regular.
No, not a regular at all. I'd be very shocked.
So then going along the line, you got Will McDonald and Cordarius Bailey backing him up. Eni Wazirike and Tucker Robertson backing him up. At the other end, you got Zach Peterson, Corey Suttle. No, not a lot of surprises there. But at nose guard, we have J.R. Singleton stepping up there as the clear-cut starter over Isaiah Lee, which is really interesting.
Yeah, that was probably going to be the too deep at that position anyways. It's just the order of the fact that it really came out. Yeah.
Yeah, the order is really interesting because Isaiah Lee is a good player. I mean, that's like Isaiah Lee is not there because he's struggling or because he's not a good player. But apparently,
J.R. Singleton's a guy that was touted coming out of high school as a guy that gets off the ball quicker than anybody and will chase you down.
Right.
So nose guard, get off the ball quick, blow up the play.
Right. That'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to watch him at that spot. Because he's just a redshirt freshman there. So if he's in there and he's good, that's that position's locked down for the next few seasons at least. The linebackers, not really anything earth shattering. Their starters are obvious. Deshaun Davis, Gary Vaughn, and Eric Horn back there. I'm assuming
you'll probably see those guys a couple series throughout games.
Oh, easily. I would guess you'll probably see those guys. And then I'm assuming we'll probably also see a guy like Cole Peterson probably at some point. Younger guy. Back to the defensive backs and the safeties. So let's start here at the I guess what do they call in the M safety? The MS, the middle safety? I guess.
Middle safety, yeah.
Middle safety. So that's their high safety, Shaim Young. No surprise there. Then you've got either Verdell Edwards or Bo Freiler, or Bro Freeler, I guess is how you pronounce it.
Dude's jacked.
Yeah, Bo Freeler is a guy. I think he might like. So when I was growing up, I grew up like watching like when I was really paying attention, really knew what was going on was like the 2000s, the mid 2000s, especially like the 2003 on type teams. So like I grew up like one of my favorite plays growing up was Nick Mosier. I loved watching Nick Mosier, and when I watch Bo Freeler, his tape looks a lot like Nick Mosier. He gets out there, he hits people. He's an enforcer in the middle of the field.
Yeah, since he's on that 2 deep, we'll definitely see him in that rotation.
Oh, I would be willing to bet we'll see him at some point. His 247 scouting profile is quite complimentary of him. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Yeah, it's a true freshman cracking the 2 deep.
Right.
Already on a defense that is, been top of the Big 12 for the last 4 years.
I mean, that tells you something. It's a one, projected to be one of the better
Jordan Morgan there listed as another freshman at the other safety spot. He's a redshirt freshman, correct?
Here's Jordan Morgan. Yeah, he'd be a redshirt freshman. So looking at Bo Frailer coming out, he was a mid 3-star, 0.85. His scouting report goes long projectable frame with room to add mass, well-rounded athlete with fluidity and agility, flashes great closing speed and route awareness, breaks quickly upfield and shows impressive ball skills, solid tackler who knows how to time hits, takes economic angles to ball carriers and wraps up well, max effort defender with a tireless motor. Could improve in the box and be smoother in his back pedal. Potential multi-year Power 5 starter with chance to garner NFL draft attention.
Wow.
Sign me up.
Wow.
Sign me up, man.
I was going to ask what the negatives were, but
They don't have any listed there. That's the whole scouting report.
That sounds unreal.
They comparison to Anderson Dejo that played for the Vikings for a while.
So then the other one there, right corner, Miles Purchase.
Yeah, he's out of Colorado, if I remember correctly. Is that right? I think he's out of Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one that it would be interesting to see. They've got TJ Tampa sitting there as the backup to Anthony Johnson,
which could be moved to right corner too.
He could easily end up over on that right corner side.
Yeah, I tweeted this out earlier in the week, but the Iowa State defense has to develop one more spot this year, and it's the other corner spot opposite of Anthony Johnson.
Yep.
Because if they don't, and just say, God forbid, Anthony Johnson gets hurt and misses time, we are in some trouble.
Right. The free safety spot there, you've got Kimani King or Jaquan Amos or Jordan Morgan. So that's kind of interesting. They don't have a starter pick there yet. I know Jaquan Amos has gotten pretty good reviews. I think that's probably more a matter of him just picking up the defense since he's only been here. He's only been here one off season. He'll play, and I'm assuming it wouldn't surprise me if as he picks up the defense and gets more familiar, it wouldn't surprise me to see him just take over that spot. Kimani King, though, for a junior, has played a lot of snaps for Iowa State, a ton of snaps. Otherwise, other than that, that's pretty much all the depth chart there. Not a lot of shock there. I mean, none of the starters would surprise anybody, really.
Still surprised Brock Purdy starting.
Yeah, Brock Purdy, look at him. Still here. Could still, technically, if he really wanted to, could still be here 2 more years after this one. So he could be playing in 2023,
but he won't.
He won't. No. But you never know. But anyways, so that's kind of the depth chart for right now. Anyways, we should get on to kind of our next the stuff that we had planned a little bit. I do want to. We have a good comment here from Stephen Smith. Thank you for the super chat donation. So really appreciate that. Who do you think will the offense and defensive MVP of the game this week will be?
Offense.
We'll go around the horn.
Offense will be Breece Hall because they're just going to ram it down UNI's throat. And then defensively, I'm going to go. I think Will McDonald's going to get to the quarterback, but I think he's going to have a nice matchup there. I don't think he's going to be as in the backfield, which we would expect, but they move him around. I guess it would hurt too, but let's go with Mike Rose. Just basically just tackling machine.
Sure. Josh, who you got?
I'm gonna go with the same on offense, just because, like you said, I think they're gonna try to make a statement and assert their dominance with the offensive line and get the running game established early on. And Breece will probably break a couple big ones. And then defense, you have to go with Will McDonald. Like, you have to. I mean, I think whether he actually, gets sacks or whatever, he's going to get pressures on the quarterback.
Yeah.
Which could cause errant throws and maybe cause intercept, just stuff like that. But I think he's just going to be a nuisance on the line, and I think it's going to go to him.
Aiden, what you got?
I can't believe no one has said it yet, but I'm going to take Brock Purdy for.
I was thinking about going him. Yeah,
but to touch on what Josh said, I think you have to go Will McDonald just because, he might not have a lot of stats in the stat book or anything like that. Like, he might only have 2 or 3 tackles, but he's still going to be. I mean, he's going to be the focal point for UNI's offensive line.
Analytically, if you graded him, he'd probably have like
QB. Right.
Their whole
he's going to have a lot of those.
Their whole pass protection scheme is going to be geared around dealing with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, that's a big role, and I don't think he'll necessarily have like the best stats, but he's going to have a lot of plays where if you're watching it, you're like, well, that was a really good play. But, it's just not going to show up in the stat sheet at all.
Fair enough. I think I'm also going to say Brock Purdy because I need him to start solid. I need him to not look panicked and not look rushed the first game. I need him to go out there and be the Brock Purdy that has a lot of fun. And I think he'll do that. So I'm going to go with Brock Purdy because, Breece Hall sets your floor, Brock sets your ceiling. I like Brock to show what kind of ceiling he can set in this game.
Who's setting the ladder?
That's an interesting philosophical question that I was not prepared to answer. So I'm just going to kind of.
Next question.
I'm going to move on to that. That is an excellent question, and I was not prepared for that.
Who is the middleman?
Defensive line on defense, it's gonna be. That's a good answer. O-line is the ladder. On defense, I'm actually gonna say. I think Hasheem Young. I think he's got a chance. He could pick off a couple passes coming over the middle because, as we apparently have seen, UNI's passing game is kind of a go for broke type of thing. They really don't throw a lot of short passes, which to me means that Hasheem will have a chance to go over there and rob something. He'll have a chance to blow something up, cause a turnover. Give me Hasheem Young. So now we've got that. I think we've got most of our comments out of the way. Aiden, you want to lead us into kind of our first in our kind of our in-season weekly segment we got going on?
Well, since I am a child, I cannot be the bear, but I'm going to be the damnedest close thing I could be. Welcome to the Cubs corner.
The Cub. we need to get like a good like a theme song so you can lead into that. But anyways, okay. So we've got. How are we going to structure this, Aiden? How are we doing this whole thing?
We can go pick by pick on my board right here. Just around the horn and just kind of round table about it. So starting with Holy Cross and UConn. Okay. Now UConn is only a 2.5 point favorite over Holy Cross.
Holy Cross.
Holy Cross, yeah.
So and this isn't that interesting of a matchup. I just thought it was funny that UConn is that slight of a favorite, and tickets are going for $6 right now.
Nice.
Wow.
So
Solid.
yeah, UConn.
UConn got their ass kicked last week.
Yeah, they didn't look great. And they're coming off
Who'd
like
they play?
700 days.
Yeah, who did they play last week?
Fresno State.
Yeah.
Oh, Fresno State's good
is-
though. I think
they're
Fresno
legit.
State's
Yeah,
good this
legit.
year though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay.
But, yeah, UConn was coming off something like 700 days without playing a football game. So
I'm sure they would have been okay with these.
Wait,
games.
you mean they've
Yeah.
played a football game before?
Do we know anything about Holy Cross?
Well,
nope.
cross and it's holy.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
That's about it. All right. I guess I'll take I'm gonna take Holy Cross on that spread. Plus 2.5. I'll take Holy Cross.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can anyone name their mascot?
The Crusaders.
Yeah, there you go.
The Purple People Eaters.
The Holy
Nope.
Crossers.
So okay, so
I'm not sure.
you're taking Holy Cross to cover.
I'm taking Holy Cross to cover. Yep.
Not to win, just to cover.
Just to cover.
I'm
not willing to go all the way on to the money line.
I know UConn is so bad,
They're really bad.
but
They're
Holy
unbelievably
Cross
bad.
can't be that much better. Give me Holy Cross's last season played what their record was.
So they were 3-1 last season.
3-1.
3-0 in the regular
They beat
season, and then
Who did they lose
Lehigh,
to? Who'd they lose to?
they lost South Dakota State.
South Dakota.
Oh,
State.
I'm taking them all day. Yeah.
31
That's
to
what's
3.
Ooh, who'd
South
they
Dakota
beat?
State's good though.
They beat Bucknell, Fordham, and Lehigh.
What was the scores?
20. So Lehigh 20 to 3, Fordham 34 to 24, and Bucknell 33-10.
All right, Holy Cross cover to win. Straight up
Mark it.
win. Straight up win.
You're taking money line?
You
Nice.
should take a money line. All right.
Yeah.
Aiden, you getting these? You writing these? You jotting these down for our running
I will.
total?
I will.
All right. So
All right,
what'd you
Levi.
take,
What
Josh?
do you got?
He took Holy Cross to cover.
I took Holy Cross to cover.
All right. I'm gonna go with UConn. Go with UConn. No,
Are
no
you taking
chance.
cover?
Yeah, take them to cover.
All right.
Taking the 2.5 points.
And Aiden's
Probably
got
gonna regret it, but
Yeah. Well, who knows?
Hold on, where's my?
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up.
Yeah. Fuck it up.
Lock it up.
All right. What do we got up next?
Next, we got Gardner Webb taking on Georgia Southern.
Gardner Webb. Let's see what
So you're taking their Gardner Webb straight up, right?
Yep.
I'm on the
Strictly
Not so
based off
fast,
their
my
mascot.
friend.
not so fast, my
So
friend.
Georgia Southern all day long. Let's go, baby.
say-
Straight up.
Oof,
hey,
yeah,
what's the
yeah.
spread on this one?
Is there a
I
spread?
couldn't find it, so I don't think
Okay.
there is one.
He's just
Okay.
he's
Oh,
just
you're just
picking the
picking it.
winner here. Georgia Southern. Let's go.
Ooh,
Yep.
let's see here.
I'm going Georgia Southern.
I think
Give it
Gardner
to me.
Webb's full-time coaching staff is the youngest in the Division I ranks with an average of 28.9 years old.
Literally does not matter. Make a pick.
I'm taking Georgia Southern.
Let's go.
Georgia Southern.
Aiden
Georgia
versus the world.
Yep, I'm taking taking the Running Bulldogs because I know a assistant baseball coach there. Shout out Aiden Wershing. So
Oh,
Bulldogs.
well, okay.
Fair enough.
Gardner Webb's
That's
last
what you're
win over
basing your pick
Division.
on?
yep,
Let's see. Gardner
Good
Webb's
luck.
last win over Division I team from the Peach State, so Georgia, came in 2007 when they blanked Savannah State by 66-0.
All right.
they're due. They're due.
They are due, but I'm taking
Well,
Georgia Southern.
We got what? Stephen F. Austin here and who's this
Tarleton.
other?
Tar-
Huh?
Tarleton State.
Tarleton.
Okay. So
It's the
give
battle
me
of
give
the
me
shitty Texas logos.
give me the facts here. Give me the facts here. What's
Okay,
the
so Tarleton State is actually getting ready to. They're actually
listen, I'm trying to talk to the Cub right now.
are
Okay?
they FCS net already, or are they? Are they FCS already, or are they? I know they're talking about continuing to move up.
That's a great question.
because they were Division II like really recently.
All
I
right.
think. Let's see here.
Mr. Cub here. What's the reasoning here? Give me the facts here on this T here and Stephen F. Austin.
So let's see here.
So yeah, they jumped up. They jumped up
So-
to Division I last year.
Two out of the last 3 Stephen F. Austin games have hit the over.
Okay.
That's pretty much all I'm basing this off of because Tarleton State really has no history,
Not in Division I, no.
or gambling history anyway. So
Okay.
Boy, Boston, ride the hot hand.
I'm gonna ride the lightning. I'm going over too. Let's go.
Oh man. Oh
I feel bad about doing about this, but I'm going for it.
Hitting the over.
Yep.
Let's see. I'll rock the over. Let's do it. Let's ride.
Okay, I'm going to tell you that the over is free money here because I'm looking at Tarleton
It's
State's
2020.
2019. I'm looking at their 2019 schedule. They put up 37, 56, 58, 49, 30, 49, 35, 45, 66, 58, 41 points. That feels like that's over's free money here.
Let's hit it. Let's go.
Life
But
is
I'm
way
also going
too
to take.
short to bet
I also
the
want
under.
to take. I want to take Tarleton State on the money line too.
Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
'Cause- yeah, I'm taking Tarleton State on the money line as well.
Damn.
Yeah,
Doesn't count as bonus points.
Tarleton State is very good. They are the. You have a laugh track? Why do you have a laugh track?
Because we're laughing.
I
at
don't
you.
know, but I do.
All right. What do we got? Is that all
Somebody
you
add
got
Nathan's
for-
last comment, please.
Get your logic out of here. All right. So that's all? That's it for our
yeah,
Bears
let's just talk about this real quick. So that's about all I have to say about that.
So this
He
is-
didn't
Make
even
sure
say
make sure
anything.
you get those marked down. But
I
do
got
we have like a loser has to do something at the end of the year, or the winner gets something? Like we gotta put some stakes on this.
we should put some stakes on this. Let's put literal stakes on this. The loser has to make stakes for everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Let's do that.
I mean,
Or buy
when
go
you
somewhere and
when
Yeah,
you
either- yeah, either-
lose when
either
you
they buy
lose, you
stakes.
have to drive to Central Iowa because we'll all be here and you'll be way the fudge over there.
that's fine.
regardless. Even if you don't lose, you still got to drive over here because
I'm not. I say I'll drive over to get a steak. Okay, so yeah, loser has to buy everybody else steaks. That's what.
fine.
Either buy or make a steak. There you
Fine.
Aiden,
That's-
next week we need I'm gonna need a little bit more heads up on these.
go. Loser
Well,
has
we
to
can't-
plan a
5
whole-
minutes
Came up with this
before.
idea. I had about 30 minutes to put this together. So
Classic. That is it's some excellent photoshopping though. So
Watch, this will be our best week too. Like
yeah.
Yeah,
we'll
this
do
will be the
research
only
and
one.
do terrible.
Right. This is the only one. All right. We got anything else
Loser
left?
eats a banana whole and peel.
So are we gonna dive into some predictions here about you and I and Iowa State?
Should we? Because I don't know if I should because I've got down the pipe later this week to record, and you've got your game preview. Let's get Josh and Aiden since this is their only podcast for the week. And
What's that?
let's get your predictions for this weekend. Give me a score. Yeah, give me a score, and actually, what we should do, you guys give me scores, and I'll give you guys prop bets to go on to pick. So you guys go.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Give me your score.
Aiden, you want to go first, or do you want me to?
You go first.
Okay. I am taking Iowa State.
Risky.
Well, obviously.
You're so
I'm gonna
brave.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
I'm going to go not quite 37.5, but I'm going to go, let's go 37-10, Iowa State.
All right, Aiden, what you got?
I'm getting real close to that 37.5. Give me 49-14. Actually 49-10. We'll cover.
49-10 with a cover.
Ooh, love it.
All right.
I'd tell you my prediction, but you're gonna have to read it on Friday morning
and you'll have to
at
listen to
widerightnattylight.com.
and you'll have to listen to mine on Down the Pipe and Natty Light right after you get done reading Matthias's game preview on Friday morning. So, all right, prop bets. Does Andrew Mevis or does I would say it's first kickoff, Andrew Mevis' first kickoff go for a touchback?
Listen, before they make their pick on this, I thought about this all day. It's not happening. And it's not because he doesn't have a strong leg. It's because we have wanted it so bad that he's just going to miss.
I like your logic. So you're going to say no.
No, it's not happening. But
Josh,
the next one will be.
Josh, is the first kickoff from Andrew Mevis going for a touchback?
No doubt. No doubt about it.
Just a touchback, or is it going out of the back of the end zone?
I'm going to say
Going to the 5-yard line.
Well, what a bummer that would be.
Because you got to take into consideration, like, is the receiver going to the returner going to catch it?
That's
you know?
probably fair.
There's a lot that goes in play. I'm just going to leave it. It's going to be a touchback.
Okay, Aiden.
I think Andrew Mevis is going to kick it and just not even look at where it's going and just walk to the sideline. That's
That would
how far it's going.
Oh my god,
hilarious.
he no looks it out of the back of the end zone.
I'd probably just walk out of the stadium like, well, we're done. Crown us
done.
national champs.
Or if he breaks out the old Pat McAfee, you know.
Oh yeah.
That would be hilarious too.
All right. So you guys are all.
great.
So we got Matthias saying no. Aiden, Josh are saying yes. I'm gonna say yes. I think it's a touchback. I think he's gonna. I mean, whether it's a receiving and catching in the end zone or he's kicking out of the back, I think it's a touchback.
Thug life by myself.
Nice.
Let's go.
All right.
baby.
Next one. First reception. Charlie Kohler or the field?
Field.
Yeah, I'm going to go field too.
I'm taking Charlie. I'm taking.
But
Charlie
I know
Kohler.
damn well that first pass is going to go to Charlie, and I'm going to just scream "fuck" in the middle of the game. And he just got a first down. Yeah, well, I'm.
Earlier we said it was going to be a screen to Breeze.
Breeze,
It's
yeah.
going to be a screen.
That's true. All right. First offensive touchdown. A receiver or a running back? Or sorry, a pass catcher. So a tight end or a receiver or a running back.
It's going to be a running back because we're going to ram it down their throat.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Taking running back.
for sure.
What if it's Brock? Is that
running
just
back
push then?
If it's Brock, then it is a push. Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you said rushing or receiving.
What if he throws it to himself?
Marcus
Then
Mariota?
he'd be a pass catcher. So, yes. So either a running back or a pass catcher. Who are you taking, Josh?
I'm going running back.
Okay, I like it. I'm taking running back. I was trying to think. I had one more on defense.
I think Brees is going to break. It's not just going to be a run it down, get to the goal line, punch it in. I think he's going to break a long one to start.
That would be amazing.
First
I
drive.
like it. Oh, that'd be fantastic.
He's going to break
All right.
one.
First sack. Will McDonald or the field?
I'm going to go the field just because I think they're going to have so much focus on Will that it's going to allow some other guys an opportunity to get through and make a sack.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go field.
I'm going field because it's coming on a blitz.
Okay.
I'll go with McDonald.
I'm taking Will McDonald too. I'm taking the Will McDonald action.
Do
All
these
right.
count towards our
We'll keep
Points here?
not really. Just more.
We've already lost track of them. So
Not well. Good thing the internet and recording works. Like that. Good thing that exists.
excuse you. I don't go back and watch these.
That's fair. Fair enough. All right. So I think about ready to wrap her up for this week, folks. You guys got anything else you want to add in?
Yeah, one more prop bet.
Yeah. Well,
One more prop bet?
before we get the one more prop bet, are we totally ditching the Aiden versus the 90s?
versus
Is
90s. Oh, we need that.
We are
need
for
that.
this. We are for this week.
Okay.
All right.
We'll come back. We'll come back with the next. Well, mostly because we're already at an hour and 25 minutes. So
Well, that's because you decided to look up if Charlton had existed before 2020.
that was literally like 15 seconds at the most.
Yeah. Well, 15 seconds that felt like an eternity.
Well, talking to you always feels like an eternity. So
Well, it at least felt like an hour and a half. So
all right, you guys got any final thoughts before we wrap her up?
he's got his prop
Yeah.
bet.
Over under for total turnovers combined,
Oh God.
4.5.
Oh God.
Under.
Under. Yeah,
3.5.
I'm gonna go under.
3.5. Why are you just
3.5.
gonna keep moving this down until we say over?
Yeah. Yep. Pretty much.
Under.
Under.
Still think it's under?
Yep.
Yeah. I think
2.5. Take it or leave it.
I'll go over there. I think it's gonna be 3.
I'll say
Three.
under.
So is it 2-1 or 3-0, Josh?
What's
for
that?
turnovers. I'll
Oh,
probably stay
man.
hungry for you and I.
I'll go 2-1.
I'm taking the under still.
No hobbling this.
1-1. All right. I think we'll wrap her up for this week. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into this episode of the Nightcap. We'll be back again next week to preview Cyhawk, and we'll recap you and I a little bit. We'll preview Cyhawk. We'll do all that good stuff. So we'll see you guys again next week for Matthias, Josh, and Chad Bruce, Shane White. Everybody have a great rest of your week. We'll see you guys all this weekend at Jack Trey Stadium. Go Cyclones.